Traders, I look forward to sharing my top ideas for the upcoming week with all of you, yet again, including my precise entry and exit targets. Now, this is going to probably be my last weekly watch list for the year, so stick around as I go over my top ideas for the week, including some plans in names like Tesla, RIVN, SOFI, and MSTR. So starting off with RIVN, looking for consolidation breakout here. Overall, the backdrop, there's been a really nice turnaround in several EV names, including RIVN with a nice bounce off of its 52-week low after finding some support near 10. We now reclaimed some key moving averages, obviously notably its 200-day moving average. And definitely with Tesla beginning to extend now to the upside, we might see some FOMO, we might see some excitement be able to trickle a bit lower and add to kind of a higher probability of a second leg occurring in RIVN, especially with the setup from a technical perspective, in my opinion. So that's really the basis here, along with just a nice technical setup. Previous support near 13 has yet again firmed up as support in the name. So I like that we've reclaimed not only key moving averages, but we've reclaimed the previous area of critical support that acted as support all of last week as well. And notably as well, the stock not only is in a bullish formation above rising moving averages, but it's in a very supportive market, hot sector, and obviously it has elevated short interest. So a few added checks there in its favor, keeping it very, very simple with potential entries and exits. For me, I'm looking for 1450s over the high end of last week's range to be able to firm up and hold over 1450s, ideally with some elevated R-vol, some volume as well. That would get me long initially against the low of day. Thereafter, I'm definitely looking initially for a push towards 15. For a push towards 15, over 15, towards 1530s would take it to around 1 ATR from entry, and that is at that point where I'm looking to scale briefly out of the position, take a little bit of profit to cover a bit of risk, and that's where I'm going to be looking to trail my position using the 15-minute time frame, using higher lows specifically, and ultimately targeting move toward 2 ATRs closer to 16. So move towards 2 ATRs closer to 16, where we might get a little bit of overhead, a little bit of supply within that region, within that area, if the stock pushes up there, if the position doesn't get stopped out, and obviously if the idea triggers and we're able to, first of all, base over 1450s, last week's high end of the range, with elevated R-vol. Next up is SOFI. Now SOFI, there's no doubting that it's definitely extended. If you look at where it's trading relative to the 50-day, relative to 200-day, but given that we pushed into 52-week highs, we've pulled back and we've spent several weeks now consolidating on a high time frame with the stock firming up on Friday's close, within a stone's throw now to 52-week highs. I'm definitely interested in continuation to the upside. Sure, we're extended, but we're able to pull back. We're able to reclaim 5-day moving average, close at the high end of the range on Friday, very close to the stock's 52-week high. And so for me, definitely interested now for continuation for a multi-day swing long. So specifically what I'm looking for is if SOFI can take out first last week's high around 1650s, if we can base around 1650s, and by the close to the 52-week highs, I'd definitely be looking for a momentum on elevated R-vol entry through that key area. Once that takes shape, my stop automatically would be at the low of day. If we do spend a significant amount of time consolidating near 1650s, break that on elevated R-vol cleanly, I might have more of a momentum stop closer to entry in my position, because I wouldn't want to see the stock break through 52-week highs, pull back, signaling a potential stuff. So it all depends on how it sets up intraday. But given the setup momentum on a higher time frame, I'm definitely going to be looking here to hold for potentially up to 3 days, as long as the previous day's low does not get taken out. And I'll be scaling out of the position intraday on extensions to the upside that equal around 1 ATR. SOUN, nice pullback, nice reversion from last week, but into the close of the week. Last week, we can see that some stubborn shorts that failed to cover into support on a measured pullback obviously have begun getting a bit blown out here. Now, I'd imagine there are still many shorts that are left, given Friday's action, sort of that grind into the close. And so, given that, the ideal scenario for me right now is hands off coming into the week, but for this to have the highest grading possible for a potential trade, I would want further continuation, ideally early in the week, Monday, Tuesday, closer to 1820, which really would signal that hopefully the last of the stubborn shorts are really exiting the position, tripping over each other, and we might be getting that crucial volume exhaust pattern. So specifically what I want to see, I'd like to see high volume churn in the high end of the range, or an intraday blow off pattern, really both of which would signal a significant exchange at those elevated prices, exchange to weak hands. But if that move, this is important for me, if that move is followed by a significant engulfing candle to the downside, at that point in time, that's when I'm going to look to initiate a short position versus the lower high, and I'd trade around a core position, really targeting a 2-day pullback towards 16 to 14s back within this range, after ideally we extend closer to 20. So there are a few additional names on watch as well. Tesla, more of a lesson here really. It is on watch for extension higher and potentially a reversion, but really in the coming days, not in the short term. It's very similar to what I walked through and discussed in my recent Inside Access meeting with my members. I'm not short biased, I've been long biased Tesla, and I'm definitely not looking to be short right now or as the week starts. But with that being said, I've also seen numerous comments, I've seen numerous posts online calling for a reversion in the name. And you really need to ask yourself, what is the difference between the setup we have in Tesla versus what we saw in Palantir last week Monday, versus what we've seen in MSTR, in SMCI earlier in the year. And you want to think about that so you don't find yourself fighting the strongest stock in the market right now. A hint is you want to look at ATR, what the common denominator with these variables amongst those names. Look at the ATR, look at consecutive green days, gap days, look at range expansion, look at vol expansion, ATR and percent expanded and extended from key simple moving average, along with the fact that obviously Tesla just broke out to all-time highs after consolidating for several weeks after the initial November and election push. It's a very sustainable up move. As of right now, we haven't gotten major extension. With that being said, though, I'll likely be on holiday if it occurs. But if Tesla does experience, those mentioned variables that I just listed, and they conform similarly to they did in MSTR, SMCI, etc., Palantir on a lesser scale, then absolutely I would be interested for a reversion. So just some takeaways then, some thoughts. RGTI, very similar to SOUN. After topping out, again, similar to SOUN, similar price action in the following days, with the help of SSR, help of being a very crowded name, a lot of bias trading around it. It's firmed up very nicely over 6, reclaims key support areas, trading in the mid-range essentially of the last 3 days. So for me, nothing to do right now in the stock. I certainly don't like or want to get chopped up in a very crowded name, but if it does break through that level, if we do break through 8 and we stuff and we're back within the range, I would be interested at that point in a short. Alternatively, if we break through 8 and we hold 8, I again would be hands off looking for an extension to 9 to 10 plus, waiting for that exhaust to occur before looking for a short and holding a call for multiple days. And then MSTR along with Bitcoin, we've seen Bitcoin obviously stabilize over 100K now. So if we do continue to firm up over 100K, specifically I would say the 102 to 104 region, so over 104,000, that's when I'd be interested in MSTR basing over 420 resistance, last week's high. But I'd also want to keep a very close eye on price action to determine whether or not we're able to hold above intraday VWAP and maintain an intraday uptrend, and that the selling have subsided, because obviously we've seen that ATM being tapped recently. We've seen heavy and persistent selling and notable relative weakness on days when Bitcoin has even been strong over the last several weeks. I need to see that change and flip on its head, and then I would look for a potential multi-day long in MSTR. And then very lastly, and it's very similar to last week's thoughts, is DXYZ. Same thoughts as last week. There have been a number of nice move-to-move trades in it from last week, but bigger picture, same thoughts. It remains on watch for the potential significant pullback, and it's a reactive trade, either going to be on the form effect taking place or a major relative weakness and disconnect, followed by some follow through to the downside, remaining weak, under the previous day's low, holding below VWAP, or consolidation breakdown through lows. So we'll have to wait and see if that occurs. Ideally, we get that breaking news scenario, but of course, when that comes out, fundamentals change, and there could be significant downside. But until then, hands off and waiting to see what I need to see in order to react. So those are all of the plays on watch for me. It will be a shortened week for me as I will be out on vacation midway through the week. And then I'll see you all again early next year when we'll pick up the watch list again. Let me know what you're watching in the comments. Drop that below. Let me know your plans. Let me know your thoughts on what I'm watching. And wishing you all a great festive and holiday season. Happy New Year. And I'll see you all again beginning of next year.
So you're an active trader, not doing as well as you want, not doing as well as you deserve, and you just can't figure out why you can't become profitable no matter how hard you try. Well, let me show you why. This is your competition. The traders in this room. This room right here is full of elite traders, some of whom are making 7 and even 8 figures a year. In fact, our top guys have made nearly 20 million each in net trading profits in a single year. Let's head to my office so I can share more. So you're probably used to seeing videos of lavish trader lifestyles, trading gurus trading off of a laptop for an hour a day, heck, maybe even 15 minutes a day, and then them relaxing on some secluded beach for the rest of the day. Well, all I can tell you is that our traders train like pro athletes. They live and breathe the markets and are continually working on their trading skills. Because at our firm, that's what we found it really takes to make it in this game. I'm Mike Bellafiore, co-founder and managing partner of SMB Capital, one of the world's top proprietary trading firms located in Midtown Manhattan. And we're always looking for trading talent to hire and develop. And not just to trade in-house on our desk, but also to trade from their own home, entirely using our firm's capital. And we have numerous traders doing just that, allowing them to make upwards of 7 figures trading the firm's capital without risking their own money. But to even get a shot at something like that, you need to have the right training. That's why we're doing a new free online presentation in which we share how you can get an interview with SMB to become an in-house or remote trader, trading firm capital without risking yours and gaining access to all of our firm's coaching and resources. And the best part, you don't have to be a profitable trader yet. In fact, we prefer to mold profitable traders with our methods and our techniques. That's why we have just 3 simple criteria that can earn anyone an interview. We're looking for highly ambitious and determined traders who fit our culture first and foremost. So if you believe that could be you, sign up for the free 1-hour online presentation by clicking the link that's in your top right corner of your screen now.